Hello Virgo, welcome to Monarch Intuition, and tonight I'm going to be doing your June 2022 monthly check-in reading for you. So let's see what's going on for the sign of Virgo in June 2022. I kind of feel like you're sighing a breath of relief right here because you do have, I'm going to pull this one because this one came out by itself, so I'm going to pull that one and take one more. We did have Mercury retrograde ending, and remember when Mercury goes into retrograde, it's going into your energy because you and Gemini are both ruled by Mercury. So I kind of feel like you're breathing a sigh of relief right here because I feel like you had a lot of work to do during Mercury retrograde, and I kind of feel like your work is done, like you've completed something really big right here. Now I feel like you're expecting to see the fruits of your labor coming up very soon, and if not, I kind of feel like that's the theme for June 2022, okay? Putting in a lot of hard work for something and then seeing the results and being very happy and pleased with it. Like you created this yourself, you did this yourself. It's a great masterpiece, a great work, and it's finally over. So we have the Devil coming out. So this could represent addictions, contracts, can also be represented to being chained down to your work right here. Remember, Adam and Eve are both chained to the devil, right? But it also represents, in a way, going into your shadow self, doing shadow work right here. So that's kind of what Mercury retrograde is. It's all about that shadow work. So the Devil, let me get you one more card. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. So I kind of feel like, as I said before, the situation is constantly shifting, constantly evolving for you. You put in a lot of hard work, you see the results. Then you put in more hard work and you see more results. So I kind of feel like there's this constant ebb and flow right here. Now, just be aware that people might be viewing this as a little bit of jealousy because they could constantly see you on the Wheel of Fortune. But understand that I feel like your Wheel of Fortune energy right here is because of all of this hard work, and people could be seeing it in a negative light. But I do see that, you know, if you put in a lot of hard work and you're not seeing any results, you feel like you hit the bottom of Fortune's wheel, it can always go back up and you will see your results right there. But I do feel like it's a lot of hard work. Now, this is something that, as I said before, you could have completed. You could be sighing a breath of relief right here, saying that it's over, you did a great job. But let's pull 3 cards from the Revelations Tarot. What cards are coming out in the Revelations Tarot for you, Virgo? Now this deck does have reversals. Okay, this card wants to come out. I'm going to flip this deck around a couple more times. I have the Queen of Swords in reverse coming out. You could be too afraid to speak your truth right here. You could be feeling that this is a little bit of gloating energy. You don't want to brag about the situation. I think that deep inside, this is your work. You feel happy about it, but I kind of feel like you're too shy to say anything. What's going on for Virgo? Let me get you a couple more cards. You have the Page of Wands in reversed, and you have the Knight of Cups upright. So what I'm seeing with this Queen of Wands in reverse is that you don't want to speak your truth. You don't want to say anything within a situation. I feel like you just take action with this Page of Wands in reverse. This is letting action speak for you, okay? Because you don't want to use too many words. You just want to use your actions. It's kind of like, you know how when you're at a corporate company, a lot of people can whisper into the boss's ear of how great they are. Some people could be sleeping with the boss. Some people could be just bragging about how great they are. But here's the thing, you're putting in this hard work showing how great you are. That's what the Page of Wands is doing. He's wielding the wand right here that's given to him by the universe. He doesn't know the full power of the wand, but he knows that he can wield it. If he can wield it properly, he can conquer anything. So that's kind of what I'm seeing for you, is that you are letting your actions speak for you. Now with this Knight of Cups, it's like coming to present something to people. You're putting in a lot of hard work to give this presentation and showing up with this Knight of Cups energy. Remember, you do rule the Knight of Pentacles. So that's kind of what I'm seeing right here. But with the Knight of Cups energy is that you're bringing it about sweetly. You're not bragging. You're not, you know, getting into conflict. You're happy that it's done. You're happy that it's over. You're kind of celebrating about this situation. You've let your actions speak for yourself, and you're reaping the rewards. So let's look at this Queen of Swords in reverse. What's this? King of Wands upright, and the Hierophant. Yeah, so this is definitely within like a work situation or where you have put in a lot of creative passion right here. Because you're coming across as the King of Wands, or this is what you need to go into. You need to sit on your throne. You need to just kind of like work with your own energy right here. This is representation of Leo, and then you have the Hierophant, which is representation of Taurus. Working very hard within this situation, this organization right here, but not bragging about it. And you know, you might even be a little bit too shy to speak about things. But with this Knight of Wands, I kind of feel like you need to overcome that. You need to, if someone asks you questions, you need to talk about it, okay? You don't need to go and brag, but if someone comes and talks to you, go and talk to them about it. So with this Page of Swords and this Temperance energy right here, this is you taking action. This is you communicating right here. You don't have to go into great detail with the Page of Swords, but you can express minor communications of how you did things. With this Temperance, this is you kind of showing people how you alchemize the situation, how you are so proficient. You're showing people the ins and outs of a situation. What's this Knight of Cups right here? Or you could be talking and telling them, yeah, I did stay overtime. Yeah, I did put in those extra hours. Yeah, I had to, you know, plan this out properly, X, Y, and Z. You have the Three of Cups. People want to celebrate with you, and you're moving very quickly into a new situation. You're moving very quickly into the Wheel of Fortune. So yeah, you did put in a lot of hard work. Let's recap this. You put in a lot of hard work. You don't want to brag about it. You're going to see results. People could be jealous with the Devil. They're like, how did you do this? Because people don't see you working behind the scenes. They only see the finished product. You're presenting the finished product to people because of all of this energy that you have. Now, if people come and talk to you and ask you how you did something, I feel like you can talk about this situation very briefly. Like, don't give like a full explanation of everything, but just say, yeah, I did spend overtime. Yeah, I did have to do this. And this allows you to celebrate with what you've done, what you've created right here. Now, where are you going with this Eight of Wands? Let's look at this. You have the Lovers. You're divinely connected to a new situation, which is Gemini energy, which is Mercurial energy. So you're divinely connected to this Wheel of Fortune up here. You're divinely connected to something that's very happy. You're going to be able to celebrate. You're going to take a sigh of relief. Now, what else is going on for Virgo? Let's look at it. Oh, we have the Ten of Swords. You know, this could be the ending of Mercury retrograde right here. You do feel a little bit distraught over the situation. I do feel like you've put in a lot of hard work. You may have burned yourself out. So I feel like a good rest is in order for you. Especially if you have been, you know, burning the candle at both ends. Don't allow burning the candle at both ends to end your flame, okay? Don't burn out all the wax. So this does represent being at peace with the situation, but also being burnt out. It is a swift ending, though. So be careful with your health right here. Ten of Swords with the Judgment card. Judgment card represents that you're going to be called to something new, okay? This is very interesting with this Ten of Swords. Let me get one more card for this. Yeah, you have the Ace of Wands. This is very symbolic right here because, you know, in the Ten of Swords, he's dying or dead. However, in the Judgment energy, he's being called back to life. He's being raptured and reborn with the Ace of Wands representing a new situation. So I kind of feel like, in a way, I'm actually going to switch decks real quickly. In a way, this kind of reminds me of like a vampire in a weird way. Now, hear me out. I know it kind of sounds like cringy, but listen. In that movie, I forgot what it was called. Oh, I think it's The Underworld. You know, the elder vampires, they sleep for like 2,000 years, and then they're woken up when it's their time to reign again. I kind of feel like that's the situation, is now that you've created this great thing, you're going to go and take a rest. But you will be called back to the forefront. It just might take some time for you to recover right here because, you know, they get called up every 2,000-3,000 years, right? So they've been asleep for that long. However, when they do wake up, it's only been like, you know, a day to them. So I kind of feel like a great rest right here, a great resting period, but you immediately get called back into action with this Ace of Wands. Well, after you've recovered. Let's take a look at that. Let me clarify with the Tarot of the Vampires because it's really weird that that came to my mind. And in this deck right here, the Nine of Pentacles is actually very pretty. So we have the Tower, we have the Queen of Skulls, and we have the Queen of Grails. So I kind of feel like this is communication of the Tower right here. A tower does fall, a swift ending. It's very symbolic to that initial reading that I did. Tower falls, the Queen of Pentacles is here, so it could represent falling on the Devil, falling on this energy, because Queen of Pentacles represents Capricorn as well. And then the Queen of Cups is, she's like a siren, right, in this deck. She uses sweet words. I kind of feel like you're watching the ending of an opponent in a weird way. Let me clarify that. It's, okay, this kind of like took a turn right here. Because you have the Tower falling on the Queen of Skulls, and then the Queen of Grails coming out immediately after. So this is you watching the situation, and I kind of feel like you're happy because you're coming across as the Knight of Cups right here, so being elevated into the Queen of Grails status. So maybe you have someone who is kind of bashing you. This is kind of like dropping the house on the Wicked Witch of the West. Or the East, whatever, right? So I do feel like you win something. You have the Wheel of Fortune. You're coming out on top in the nick of time. You do have it falling upon the Devil because the Queen of Skulls is represented by Capricorn, which is also the Devil energy. So you beat this situation. I'm not saying you beat the Devil, but you beat an antagonistic person in your life. And now because of that, you have a new opportunity. But at the end of the day, to give you this new opportunity, it's going to be like having to wake you up from the dead as well. Like, I don't feel like you're really going to want to take this opportunity. It's going to have to be like a really mighty big blast, a mighty big trumpet call to bring you out. Like, someone is going to have to kind of grovel if they want to wake you up ever again. Let's look at this energy. Yeah, 7 of Knives, the Strength card, and the 9 of Skulls. Yeah, you know, I just said the 9 of Skulls earlier. The 7 of Knives, you got away with something very sneaky. Now you're standing alone in your own power with the Strength card and the 9 of Skulls. You're happy where you are. You're happy that you passed this situation. You're happy that you've outwitted, you've outdone a competitor right here. People want to know how you did it. It's none of their fucking business, really. Like, you can talk about it, but, you know, brief little things here and there. Like, how did you alchemize the situation? Well, I mean, how did you do that, Virgo? And how much information you want to give up, that's on you. You're coming across as modest, though, with this Queen of Swords, with this King of Wands. It's like, you want to tell your story, but at the same time, you're not just going to blurt out your story to everyone. These cards are coming. I have the Devil, you have the Ace of Scepters coming out, you have the Two of Scepters, and you have the Hierophant. So you're walking away from the Devil with this new opportunity towards the Hierophant. So you're starting something new. You get a new situation. It does fall on the Queen of Pentacles, whatever this is. Let's look at this new situation with the Hierophant. So it kind of goes full circle. So you're in a situation, right? You do something really good. You put in the hard work. You're focused on you. You beat a competition or a competitor. They want to know how you did it. You kind of did it very shady, kind of sly, on the side, whatever. How you did it ultimately makes you the winner in the end. This person kind of loses out on whatever the new opportunity is. You're now offered the new opportunity. I don't know if you want to take it. You might take it. It is saying that it's kind of within the same organization with the Hierophant right here. That's up to you. You do have the 9 of Skulls with the Strength card saying that you're okay where you're at. Now, if you want to take on a new job, you can do that as well. Or you might just take a promotion within this new opportunity, or take a promotion within your old job right here. I know that sounded confusing, so let's kind of backtrack that. If you're in a company right now, or if you're in a work situation, if you're in an environment, you might get a promotion above someone else. If not, you're going somewhere new, but very similar to that situation because you're pulling double Hierophants because of what you did, because of what you know how to do. Let's look at this Hierophant. The Moon, and the Daughter of Knives. So the Page of Swords coming out again. You've pierced through the illusion. You understand the deception right here. It's like no one can trick you. Because remember, the Daughter of Knives represents like a spy. He knows how to use his intelligence. He knows how to wield the intelligence. So it's kind of like you know how to move through trickery. But it's really not moving through trickery, it's moving through chaos because people get thrown out of balance when Mercury goes retrograde, but you're actually at home in that energy because that is your energy. When Mercury goes retrograde, it's going into your energy. So, you have the Lovers coming out. Let's look at this down here. You saw through the deception, you ultimately win in the end. You did suffer kind of like a setback. It's okay. You're connected to something new. You're about to celebrate, or you have celebrated. Wheel of Fortune coming out. You have the Lord of Scepters again. You're connecting to a Leo right here, possibly. The Eight of Grails, you might be walking away from a Leo. The Three of Scepters. This person could be sending off a message to you and you're waiting for it to return, or vice versa. I do feel like you're connected to someone right here. So you're dealing with a few different people. You're dealing with a workload, a workplace, a work environment, or somewhere where you spend a lot of time. You're dealing with someone who is a competitor to you. You're dealing with someone who's actually like got good energy. But here's the thing. The Lord of Scepters is also kind of reminiscent of you. So maybe you're not connecting with someone. Maybe you're connecting to this higher energy, this Lord of Scepters energy. You might be walking away from something and starting something new for yourself with this Three of Scepters. You might be waiting for an apology, and when that apology does come, you accept the apology, but you still walk away from the situation. Oop. I don't want to take all of these, but I will read them for you. You have the Five of Skulls, the Seven of Scepters, the Seven of Grails, the Four of Scepters, and the Four of Cups. So this is symbolic right here. You're not going to go into any type of job or any situation where you feel impoverished, right? The Seven of Scepters says you are not pushing yourself into that. You're going to push anything away. Anything that gives you an illusion with the Seven of Grails right here, because that kind of represents the moonlight energy, even though the Seven of Grails is Scorpio and the moon is Cancer. I personally believe that you know deep down that certain things are not going to work out for you, right? So you're not going to waste your time on that. In fact, you're going to start celebrating with things that are actually healthy for you with the Four of Grails. Okay, so what I'm seeing for you right now is I feel like you've pushed yourself into a lot of different situations because you wanted to make those situations fit, okay? For example, say you're working on this part of the puzzle right here, and you're trying to find all the different pieces to make this corner piece work. Some people build the frame first, some people start on one corner. Now, you can't find the piece to fit in this corner, so you take one piece and you smash it in, right? Well, it obviously doesn't go there. So you keep working and you keep working and you keep working while your puzzle's already jacked up because you didn't pull that piece out, because you try to force it to fit. The universe is going to hand you the right piece at the right time so that way you can fit the puzzle the way it's supposed to be. The universe is saying, I want you to build the frame first. I don't want you to start in the corner. I want you to just build this frame. And you're saying, I don't want to do that. I want to do this. I feel like you're coming into alignment with that the universe knows best now. Instead of just saying, I'm going to do it my way, you're saying, okay, well, this doesn't seem very exciting for me, but I'm going to do it because the universe has kind of dropped it in my lap. And then when the universe starts dropping more things into your lap, you're going to move on from that situation and move on to a new one. So you're building the puzzle of your life right here. Okay, Virgo? So I kind of feel like you try to force a situation to fit. It didn't really work out. You did win in the end. However, it's not that great. You're getting an apology. You're receiving something good. You did something shady, but it's fine. You do have the Nine of Skulls coming up. The Nine of Skulls represents some sort of just being happy where you are, understanding you'll never put yourself in any type of situation again. If someone asks you how you did this, you will tell them. However, you're not going to explain it in full detail. Like, you'll be very quick with them. You're connected to a Lord of Scepters energy moving forward within your life. You have the Ace of Scepters. You're walking away from the devil. You're moving towards something better. So basically, what the universe is saying for you is that I'm going to put you in a lot of different Hierophant energies. I'm going to put you in a lot of different Hierophant positions. However, I'm going to move you from those Hierophant positions to different ones throughout your life. You're not going to stay at one place too long, I don't think. You're going to be moving through experience or through promotions throughout companies, right? Now, you might say, I want to stay at this company. Well, when the universe says, I want you to move, roll with that. Don't try to stay in something. Because that's what the Four of Cups represents. The universe is handing you the Ace of Cups, but you're sitting there saying, I don't want to take that because I have 3 cups in front of me. Well, here's the thing. Celebrate with that new cup, okay? Because, yeah, you might have 3 cups in front of you, but wouldn't it be great to have a 4th cup? Wouldn't it be great to, you know, finish the frame of the puzzle and not have to hammer a piece in? So the Ace of Cups comes out on the top of the deck. That's exactly what that's exactly what I was telling you right there. That's this reading for you. Take the Ace of Cups from the universe. If you pray for a situation and you're meditating and you're saying, I need a new job, and someone comes in and says, okay, well, I have this, you know, secretary position open. And you're like, well, I don't really want to be a secretary. I was hoping to become like a nurse because maybe that's what your degree is in, right? And you're like, well, okay, I could just take this job. Just take it. Maybe, you know, you'll meet someone who can put you in a better position because, you know, say you're working for an attorney's office, doctors have medical malpractice insurance, right? So you might be able to meet a famous doctor or a really good doctor and tell them that you're a nurse. And who knows, like, that's how the universe is playing out this situation for you. So if you're working at a law firm as a secretary, you meet this doctor who has medical malpractice insurance or whatever through this lawyer right here, they might take you on, and, you know, it's pushing you forward to where you need to be instead of just trying to rush to this hospital or that hospital right there, right? So that's what the universe wants you to understand. Celebrate with all of these new different things coming around. And it could be something that's completely different, Virgo. You might have always been, you know, a secretary, and now they're saying, hey, go be a sailor. And you're like, what the hell? Like, do something new. It doesn't always have to be just this corner piece. You're building the frame first. That's actually how you should do a puzzle. So, universe knows best. So let me get you a couple of Witch's Familiar Oracle cards. So I do see you had a bittersweet ending, but you won. It's okay. Now the universe is saying, hey, take a rest. I'm going to present you with something new. You might not want to take it, but take it. Just do it, whatever it is. It could be within love. It could be within a new situation, whatever. You know, moving. You might get the opportunity to go travel somewhere. Who knows? Whatever the new opportunity is, the universe is giving it to you. It's hand delivering this opportunity to you. And it could be like a small opportunity that you're like, well, I don't really want it, but it ends up being the the ace to the next sequence of your life right here, the next sequence of events. So you have sovereignty with the crow and custodianship gnome. Here's the thing about custodians. They clean up other people's messes. You're good at that, Virgo. Maybe you just don't want to do that. Maybe you're tired of cleaning up other people's messes. Maybe you're... Hold on. I bumped into the drawer down there. Maybe you're tired of cleaning up other people's messes right here, but the universe is saying that they want you to take this new thing, and you're looking at it like it's a fucking mess. I don't want to take this new opportunity on because it's still just a mess to me. I don't want to be this custodian to the world. But here's the thing with the sovereignty energy, even though it looks like a mess, it has something so good inside of it. It's like the key to eternal life right here. I'm not saying it is like eternal life, but this new opportunity builds you into something much better, much greater than what you had prior, right? So let me get you a couple of spellcasting oracle cards. I do see that with this King of Wands, you want something exciting though. And this new cup that's being offered to you just doesn't look exciting. You're like, well, I don't really want to do it because I want to act like this King of Wands energy. I don't really want to go into like this boring, bland, whatever. Because here's the thing, Virgo, like you're still someone who likes to have energy. You're still someone who likes to do things. You are a knight, okay? You are the Knight of Pentacles, so that means you want to move forward. You want to do stuff. So, anyway. And you're blessed by Leo energy, because remember when Libra equalized the scales, sent you to be with Leo and then sent Scorpio down to Hades. So you do have a lot of fire energy, even though you're not a fire sign or an earth sign. You still have like that oomph, if that makes sense. So we have answers. You're going to have answers in spirit guides. Okay, pay attention to your spirit guides. You're ignoring the universe right here, Virgo. You are ignoring things. You don't want to take a new adventure because you kind of feel like you've done it before. Because as I said before, with that double Hierophant, you've done something similar to this before. It seems boring. You know how to do it, or maybe you're new to this new situation, but you kind of know how to do it. You're just like, I don't really want to go into that again, but trust me, it's that new step. Forgiveness, reducing burden, and the underworld, where all things pause and begin again. We have death, the eternal cycle begins here. So something ended, a new cycle is beginning, where all things pause and begin again. It's kind of like the Fool energy. Remember in the Fool? Fool represents 0. So at the end of the major arcana, or even at the end of the tarot deck, it goes back to point 0, and then it starts at 1 again. And it goes all the way through the tarot, and it ends. And that's kind of what the underworld is, and what heaven is as well. It's kind of like that 0, that pause phase. It's like that where nothing is nothing and nothing is everything at the same time. And everything is nothing. It makes no sense, the concept of 0, right? There's complete nothingness, but the ability to make everything else. So that's what I'm seeing for you is forgive a situation from your past, move on from it, move forward with your life. We're under the underworld where all things pause and begin again. You had an ending to this old past situation, but you're moving forward. You don't want to take this new thing because it doesn't seem pretty or fun or whatever, but it is exactly moving you towards your goal. You're not going to stay there if it's boring, if it's not good. The universe is just saying, take it for right now, and then that's where new things align. You're going to meet the right people. People that are supposed to be within your life are going to come into that situation. So let me get you a couple of awakened cards. We have embrace. Embrace this new beginning. Embrace the new cycle. And embrace the new sequence. You have Merkaba, a chariot. It's kind of like you're moving forward. You're being picked up inside of this new... You know, in the Bible, certain prophets didn't die. They were brought up to heaven in a chariot. Merkaba is kind of like that chariot, right? But it also represents sacred geometry. So it's kind of like a wheel, but at the same time, you're moving forward. This is like the spirit guide energy. Because remember, the angels are actually instruments. They are tools for God. There are tools to enact his will, okay? So think of them as kind of like being artificial intelligence. Like we're creating robots to do things for us. Like some robots are just going to stop. And that's all they're ever going to do. Some robots are going to be able to actually act like people and, you know, communicate with us. Some robots, like, think of like a Tamagotchi back in like the 90s or early 2000s. They were just programmed to do two things. That's a robot though. They're only programmed to do that. So there are different types of angels. There are some robots or some angels that are just wheels. There are some angels that are going to blast the trumpets. There are some angels that are going to do X, Y, and Z. So think of heaven as like a big AI society where God is actually an intellectual, supreme, all-knowing being. He has sentient or consciousness, and he gave humans consciousness. The angels aren't really conscious. They're just enacting his will, okay? Now, they do have some semblance of free will because, you know, Lucifer fell, whatever, however you want to view that. But in reality, they were created simply to just be his tools. So that's what the Merkaba is that you're receiving a tool or an instrument to help you move forward within your life. The spirit guide is that this thing is going to propel you forward. This new spirit guide, this new angel is like this tool that's moving you along within your life. Let me get you one more card, Air Force. I think I pulled all three of these cards in a different reading, so I'm going to get you one more. Air Force. When you feel that force of air, when you feel that gust of air, that is the angels moving you forward. Feel that and know that the winds of change are happening with that spirit guide with the Merkaba. Because remember, the Merkaba is that wheel, okay? Blaze a trail. You're going to be moving forward very quickly, especially with this Eight of Wands energy. That represents blazing a trail. It's Sagittarius energy. So, it doesn't seem exciting, but it is. It's the next sequence to your life. And sometimes you do have that pause within a situation where you're just doing it for filler effect within your own life episode. However, when you stay at that situation for a period of time, all of a sudden you move forward, right? The new situation, a new opportunity shows up at just like randomly when you're least expecting it. So just take this new opportunity, just move forward, like, okay, whatever, I'm going to do it, and then all of a sudden things change. So, underworld, where all things pause and begin again. Understand what happened within your past, that's over, that's done with, you're moving forward with your life. This new opportunity, it's but it has the potential to be amazing. And it's being directly given to you by the wheel of God, or like a chariot wheel, an instrument. Now, I'm not saying like God is coming down and doing all these things. I'm just putting it into like perspective, okay? So anyway, Virgo, I hope you enjoyed this reading, and I'll talk to you later.